So, second video on the WeeRoll build out. So now I wanted to get rid of that IKEA thing. I told there was just too much dead space in the nose. I thought that it would fit and be useful, but it wasn't. So I wanted to make my own sort of kitchen shelf. So this is the template I made out of some really cheap 1/4 inch plywood from Home Depot. And in order to cut out that template, I took measurements of the nose. You can sort of, it's not to scale, obviously, but you can sort of see my measurements. Your results may vary. So I measured out everything I needed to, and I cut it out on my cheapo table saw. You can see in the background, and it fit just fine. And I knew that once I put the trim backsplash up, those little gaps along the nose you wouldn't even be able to see them. So that translated into this once I was comfortable with my measurements. Everything, pretty much any big time cutting job that I did, I used a template for. I didn't want to waste the time or the effort or the money on the real wood if it wasn't going to line up. So anyway, this is 3/4 inch heavy duty plywood. I forget what I used for the backsplash trim, 1x2 pine or something. And I did have to measure the angles in order to miter all the angles for the trim, which I'm not a mitering expert. And it took a couple passes on some practice pieces of wood, but it worked out. So this is what it looks like from here. This is a closer version of the corners and stuff, and a little closer look of the nose portion. Not too shabby. Next thing I did is I built this retractable shelf. Again, just cut a piece of plywood, still had that 3/4 inch from Home Depot. So I just cut it, stained it, polyurethane, and I got these retractable locking brackets, which is pretty cool. So I can fold it down when I'm not using it. And then when I want to use it, I just extend it and it locks into place. And it's level, which is pretty good considering my level of expertise. You can see in the background, I don't know how much I'm going to use it, but I put one of those shower caddy things on for some cheap, quick shelving. I also hung some shoe caddy things to shove things into pockets. Both really cheap. I don't know how long they're going to last. I don't know what I'm going to use them for, but they're there. So now back to the sink. I wanted to make a sink in my countertop. So this is just a aluminum or stainless, whatever it is, salad bowl. I guess it's aluminum, 6, 8, $10. I bought two of them because I needed to practice on one. And then I just bought a drain. So I cut a hole in the bottom of the salad bowl wide enough to fit the drain in. Here's a look from the bottom of the salad bowl, just installing a drain like it was a sink, just following directions. And this is my water tight checking for leaks. So filled it up with water, put a rubber plunger in there, and there were no leaks. So I was happy with it. So back to that countertop template. Like I said, I wanted to keep cutting holes to make sure I had the right size. So finally, I did figure out the right size to cut a hole that will fit that sink. And you can see for the faucet, I had a test hole which didn't work out, so I had to do another one to get the size right. This was like a $20 faucet on Amazon. It's a single temperature faucet, so it's just one line coming in from the bottom, and the handle doesn't matter because my water isn't pressurized, so the handle is just going to stay open, and I'm going to get the water going with a foot pump, which I'll explain later. So that's again my template, making sure everything fits. This is the side view of the template. Not sure why I took that picture. Here's a top view of the template. Everything fits in there. This is the real piece of plywood, stained polyurethane. I made the cut to fit the sink. I made the cut to fit the faucet. This is what it looks like with all the pieces stained and polyurethane and placed into position. Here's a view from the top. Here's a view from the bottom, and I do have these support posts. I now have 4 of them. Here there's only 2, but it's stained and polyed to match. And that's all I have to explain there. I installed some of these tie down anchors into the walls so I can attach a ratchet strap, and that's how I will secure. This is a leg to that couch futon thing, so I'll add a tie down strap through those, and that's how I'll keep the futon from sliding along when I am traveling. And this is a picture of my plumbing system, which I will explain in the next video because this one's already going too long.